It's just a little too country. Yeah. I'm just so rock and roll that it's hard to. Yeah, what do you guys think? Do you think?
Did you guys watch?
I think he's more folk.
Did you see the movie?
Yes.
We saw the movie.
What do you think?
I had to look over at him and like nudge him.
No?
Yeah, you might as well have a belt buckle and shit kickers on. For all I know.
He was like being too rock and roll, and they were like,
Oh, he needed to be more rock and roll, if you want my opinion. And him and Joan Baez needed to, you know what I mean?
They probably did.
They did, for sure they did. But I wanted to see graphic nudity.
Yeah.
So, well, that's weird because it's also soothing to me too.
I could announce the band that I'm in, right?
Oh, you could on your podcast.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
He's in a band.
I'm in a band with my brothers. Yeah.
Why are you keeping this as a
I
secret?
love what it's called.
Yeah, the name is the best
Okay,
part.
let's start from the beginning though. How long has this been a thing?
Probably a couple months.
Couple
now,
months, yeah.
What's the name of the band?
Stefan Wolf.
I love that.
You all right?
Yeah. That's
Okay,
perfect.
so I was telling him he needed to have for his like logo. You know how they have those three wolves looking at the moon?
Howling.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
he's got four brothers with himself. That there need to be four wolves howling at the moon.
And what genre are we talking here?
We were going to start with yacht rock, but
Classic.
kind of just all kinds of like 70s and 80s covers is what we're going to do. Yeah.
So what have you been
60s.
practicing?
Yeah, tell us about this. Is amazing.
So our top song is Summer Breeze by Seals and Croft.
Summer breeze
Yeah.
makes me feel fine.
Yeah.
Blowing. Okay.
But we don't have a Steppenwolf song. We just
Yeah.
I got the idea from a coworker. I was
Yeah.
just we had first talked about calling ourselves Yacht Bros, but we thought that wouldn't go down very well with some people.
Would you only be able to listen if they pay in cryptocurrency?
Probably.
Classic.
And I mentioned to a
Yeah.
coworker, he's in a band that broke up. They're called, I think, Hoodoo Child or something like that.
Okay.
And he just said Stefan Wolf, and I was like, yes,
Yeah.
yes.
And
Stefan.
you need to really emphasize the f.
Fuck. Yeah. Plenty of fuck
Because
in there.
the step in wolf could be a little bit angry with you if you
Yeah,
don't
that's right.
emphasize the f. So, well, I love that for you.
Yeah.
When are we expecting some performances, live shows, albums?
We're a long way from performances for sure.
Yeah.
But at some point we want to play in some bars and things like that. But
Could we possibly get a Daybreak Records performance someday?
possibly?
What do you guys think?
Yeah.
If you like the thought of that, down below, give us a little like in the heart. And with that, let's start the Daybreak After Dark podcast.
All right.
You guys, thank you for joining me tonight. It's our third episode, and we're so excited to have you here tonight. So, what did you guys think coming into this? Like, you've seen 2 episodes so far. What are your thoughts so far?
Looks like a lot of fun, but I was
Yeah.
nervous.
Yeah. What do you think was, because I hear that a lot. Is it being next to me? Like, obviously I'm a
No.
large, no, no, not that. Okay.
It's possibly being seen by somebody famous for me, I think, maybe, even
And-
though that's like really probably not going to happen.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's the possibility of, just somebody being
Okay.
like, oh, I remember that girl and I saw her.
Let's talk
and I
about
don't
this.
know.
Let's fan out a little bit. Say there was a famous person that obviously, clearly famous people watch our podcast. Howie Day,
Obviously.
Howie Day for sure was
Right.
watching this. But who to you, if they were watching this, would you be kind of like, oh my gosh, like you'd be a little bit nervous? Who's that person?
The used.
So,
100% the
and
used.
and that's a possibility because you did get to meet them 3 times? Or
Twice.
Did you do the 3 nights or just the?
2 nights.
Okay, gotcha. Because they did the 3 nights, right?
Mhm.
Yeah. So they're joining. They're like, okay, let's see what this Brittany and Kevin have. And that could make you a little nervous.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
because I talked about because I could bring a personal item for them to sign.
Yeah.
And I brought an album from my collection. I had quite a few copies of this particular album. I brought one for them to sign, and I gave them the whole spiel and told them it was going to be in for the September giveaway, the charity auction that we do for Primary Children's, and I said, thank you for signing this. Like, this is gonna be donated for this, and
That's
they
awesome.
were
So
really
you told them
excited
about it? And
Yeah.
what did they comment on, like, because obviously it's kind of weird. You're limited on time.
Right.
And so you're trying to get the point across of like, okay, we do this charity for the primary children's.
Right. Well, I was like, how do I approach this to them? And I was like, hey, do you guys live around here or been to Daybreak Records by any chance? Like, that's how I broke it. And they were
I
like,
love that.
one guy was like, well, no, but I live here. And I was like, oh, we should go check it out. I mean, they're new.
That's cool.
They're in Sandy. Like, this is what it's for. And yeah, I'm pretty sure I just word vomited everything.
Yeah. But they got the point
Yeah.
that we're going to be doing, which I love. It's coming up in what, like 3 months? So we're going to have people design covers for us.
I'm very excited about that. I already know what I'm going to do.
Which I'm just
I don't know what album, but I know what I'm going to do.
Which I'm just going to say, if the used are listening right now, you can design a cover if you want.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just saying, because they're listening right now, right?
Oh, yeah. They're totally watching.
Don't be
this
nervous,
right now.
Brittany. Don't be nervous.
Hey, just remember, Bert put his hand on my shoulder.
Yeah.
I know. That photo with you of them in it, like.
The second photo was, you could tell it got a lot more intimate. The first photo, they're just getting a feel for who are these two. And then by the second one, it's like, these guys are, yeah.
We had more time with them because there was less people at that third concert. There wasn't as many VIP. So we had, more chances for more photos where we each could take our own photo and stuff.
That's
like
cool.
That. So that was fun.
Isn't it fun to meet that person, like that celebrity where you've like listened to their music, you've watched their shows, and when they turn out to be like, oh, they're actually like cool people. I love it.
Yeah. I was kind of thinking Bert was going to be taller than what he was. He's like my height. I did not know that. I thought Bert was taller.
Which is okay, Bert.
Yeah,
There's
it's
nothing
okay, Bert.
wrong
It
with
totally
being
is.
at the size
Love
that
you.
you are.
Yeah,
Love
yeah.
you. Love you, Bert. Yeah. It's okay, Bert.
Yeah.
Anyway, I don't know what that was. It turned into Goofy. It started with like Ernie, Bert and Ernie. We'll workshop that voice.
That's right.
So, well, awesome. So let's officially welcome you to the third episode. We're so excited to have you. We had to wait quite a while to get you because you decided to do a pretty epic trip, didn't you?
Yeah.
So we're going to get into details on that later because there is something fun that we are going to do for this podcast. And we're going to say this a couple times just in case you're joining at random points.
Mm-hmm.
But Brooke, do you want to show them what we're going to be giving them away? Hand over So Brittany, give us a little spiel on where you got this and what is happening with this.
Okay, so we got to visit some record stores while we were in our month-long cruise. We went to Japan for one of those ports that we got to go. Well,
that's cool.
Quite a few like cities in Japan, but this one was from Tokyo. And what was the name of it, Kevin, that we went to?
This was Tower Records.
Tower Records, that's right.
Yeah, Tower Records is a lot of fun. We got to go there when we were in Tokyo too.
Yeah, seven floors of just pure amazing, like so much stuff. I mean,
let's talk about that. Like each floor is a different like genre.
They had
like it was
they had
so
J-pop on one floor. They had rock on one floor. They had a cafe on a floor. They had like anime and manga on a floor. Like they had so many different floors of just different genres of stuff.
Which I'm doing good if I have one bin of metal.
Right.
Like I need to step it up. They have whole floors of metal.
Yeah.
Like that's wild.
We didn't even get to see all the we didn't even get a chance to like go and look at through all the floors because there was just so much stuff there. Yeah.
Kevin, what was your thought when you walked in? Because obviously you've been to some record stores, but walking into Tower Records the first time, what was your thought?
I mean, I gravitated right toward this like anime lo-fi stuff that they had, this Gray October sound. I was like, okay, I'm in Japan. Come on.
Because you knew you needed to get something fun from Japan.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So there's so many things, it's hard not to get at least a handful.
And then it was like, well, but I'm going to see more things. And we've got this yen in our pocket and
it's just burning a hole right through
right?
it. Like.
Yeah, you have to spend the yen and who knows how much it's actually worth.
Right.
It's only 15,000 yen. That seems affordable.
Right.
That's awesome.
It's fine. Yeah.
And then Brittany, this one, so were you like out shopping around? This was from Tower Records.
Mm-hmm.
And you were like shopping around. This jumps out at you. Tell me what you're thinking when you saw this.
Yeah. So I was like, okay, well, who do I want to give away? So I looked for different things and I was like, you know what? I came back to Queen because I first started at Queen because I knew Queen was like, okay, I'm going to find something for Queen. Found some of the things and I came back to Queen and was like, okay, this is going to be it. Queen is like probably one of my top 5 bands.
I had to have an Obi too.
Yeah, I was to say I had to have an Obi. There was a lot there that didn't have it, and I was like, no, people aren't gonna want that. Like
you gotta have
that.
the Obi.
Yeah. So when I came across this, I was like, I've never seen this record before. So I had to do a little bit of research about it, and from what I could from what Wikipedia tells me, because it's 100% legit and 100% real and whole truth,
Yep.
all true. It said that when Adam Lambert toured with Queen, they did a poll with some of the fans and allowed them to nominate one song that was their favorite that they would want on a record.
That's cool.
And this particular record, they put a collection of fans' favorites from Japan.
So it's like a greatest hits only selected by fans in Japan.
Yep.
That's cool. So what we're going to be doing, and I love that Brittany's doing this, and I want to give her a shout out. Like, that's so thoughtful. Like, you didn't have to do that, but you're like thinking of the people at Daybreak Records.
Well, yeah, I've been thinking about like how many times people have paid it forward to me and all the times that people pay it forward to everybody else. Like, it happens a lot in the group, and it's pretty amazing that people do that.
Isn't that crazy? Because what we're doing is an auction, right?
Mhm.
You're bidding against somebody else for something you want. And it gets competitive. You're bidding back and forth. And ultimately, in the end, someone loses.
Yep.
Like, you would think that would cause a lot of frustration. People to be like, oh, why did so-and-so get that?
Right.
But what happens in the group is everybody is so thoughtful. They will buy each other stuff.
Yeah.
Like, that's the hardest part of my job is we do these live auctions
You have
on
to remember
Facebook.
who-
Like, who's buying what for who? And
Yeah.
then they've started doing this thing that's driving me crazy, but I love it in a weird way, is they'll start doing 4 people paying for the same record. So they're like, let's split it 4 ways. And I'm like, sure, one wasn't hard enough to keep track of. How about I
Right.
split it 4 ways?
Right.
Oh, but you got to love the people. They're
Yeah,
so
yeah.
thoughtful.
Yep.
So
Yep.
this is kind of a fun way to give back.
Yep. This was a way that I wanted to do that, and I thought, what
so-
better than a fun Japanese pressing? And
I love that. So what we're going to be doing is in the comments down below, because
Mhm.
you're watching this on YouTube right now.
Yep.
We're filming this, but you're watching it from YouTube. You could potentially win a Queen Greatest Hits as chosen by Japanese fans. What we want you to do is down below in the comments, we're going to give you a code word.
Mhm.
And Kevin has come up with
Oh, it's
the
amazing.
perfect code word.
Yep.
So
Really?
Kevin, what should everybody down below type in the comments?
Arigato.
Which is perfect. What does that mean in Japanese for those who aren't fluent like we are?
Thank you.
Honestly, that was like one of the 5 words that I only learned when I went to Japan. Arigato gozaimasu.
How
So-
many times do you think you said arigato?
He said it a lot more. I wanted to say arigato, Mr. Roboto, like every time. And I knew that if I were to say that to some of these people, they'd
Yeah.
be offended.
Yeah.
So I let Kevin do most of the
Yeah.
talking.
Yeah.
The-
The funny thing is they actually do use that a lot.
Yeah.
It's not like we're just making this up. Like all the time people are saying arigato.
That and I'd say sumimasen, and raise my hand. I was like, excuse me, kind
Yeah.
of thing. Right?
Yeah.
Just
Bowing.
Letting
yeah.
people know you're there.
Yep.
I love the bowing. Just
Yep.
bowing your
Bowing.
Yeah, it became like second nature.
Yeah.
You just, bow at everything. It's
towards
like,
the end, like you're done with dinner, you bow at the person who made it. You're at the urinal, you bow after just to thank the urinal
Mhm.
for their service. And
you leave a store without buying anything, you bow at them. Like,
thank you. But sorry I didn't buy, but thank you. Arigato
exactly.
gozaimasu.
Yeah.
Well, I love that. So what we're going to have you do is down below type arigato. Get close on the spelling. We'll give it to you.
Yeah.
But basically, thank you in Japanese. And I want to give a big thank you to you guys for providing that. That's going to be so much fun. What we're going to do is next Tuesday on our Facebook group, we are going to pull the winner live. We're going to take everybody in the comments who types arigato. You're going to be entered to win that amazing Japanese pressing of Queen. So thank you guys for doing that. I'm so excited to see who wins. And what a fun experience to go to
Yeah.
Japan.
Yeah. We started in Australia and then
What?
went to Japan and then Alaska for, a couple days and then ended in Seattle.
Tell me you hit record stores on all of those places.
Yes.
Except Alaska.
Yeah. Alaska didn't really have, I
mean-
looked for some that were close by, but because we were there such a short time in port that there wasn't time
There
to
wasn't
go
a chance,
there.
yeah.
So,
Which I love that you attempted, though.
Yeah,
You're like,
of course.
if there is one, we're going.
oh yeah.
Yeah. Which doesn't that make it fun? I feel like it's changed traveling for Brooke and I too.
Yep.
Like we'll go to a place. The first thing I do, I'm looking for a record store. How
Mhm.
close is it to the hotel? Can we get there in between lunch? Should we go multiple times? Like we got to map it out.
Yep.
So was this a thought when you guys planned this trip? Like were you thinking at the start like
We
I
thought
was.
just Japan at first is what we said, but then we're like, well, so when we got to Australia, we had like the 14, 16-hour flight. We
Oh.
couldn't check into our hotel yet, and so we were in the central business district, and we started walking around with her parents and her aunt.
I imagine like zombies at this point.
Like
You've had a
zombies.
long flight.
And the first store we find is a record store, or well, it was
Well,
like
it's like a electronic accessory kind of store.
Yeah.
Okay, so
But
it's
I
like a
was like,
multi.
but the name of it, I was like, I wonder if this is
Yeah.
a record store too. And we went down and asked them if they sold records, and they're like, we sure do. And we were like, okay, dokie, we're gonna go shop here. And my parents and my aunt were like, all right, well, we're gonna go over here and shop somewhere else. And we're like, all right, well, we'll see you in a bit then. Like,
because record shopping is not a short experience. You have to
No.
dive in, see what they have. This is what always got me in Japan. So we'd be flipping through. What if that next record is something you have to have?
mhm.
And like you can't stop. It's like a compulsive thing. You have to see everything that they have.
Yeah.
Did you guys find that you like would dive pretty deep into the bins or?
Yeah, there were certain like groups I would go for sure look for in the lettering that they had, and I found the used in Australia, and I found it in Japan, so I was very excited to see.
Yeah. Were those
know,
ones that you bought or just you found it
I
there?
no, because I already had them, and I was like, okay, well, there were certain ones I was looking for, and I was like, I didn't at the time we didn't have like a plan of how we were going to bring stuff back. We were just going to limit ourselves to like one or two.
Yeah.
That did not happen. It was like we got like 40 that we brought home. Yeah. But I just noticed that squirrel. Anyways, yeah.
Tell the people what you're noticing though. Point it out.
A sign, Angels and Airways.
Isn't that cool?
Oh my gosh. Dare to Whisper.
Yeah. So as you guys,
I love
let's
Angels and Airways.
describe what's happening right now. So we're obviously filming the podcast, but this is also where we run a lot of the record store out of. So we do a live auction. So if you guys ever tune in for the live auction, this is where we sit. The wall behind us, we have affectionately named it Doug, which you're so confused because you have no idea what it is. But that's the name that stuck, much to my chagrin. I was thinking something epic like the Great Wall or the Wally, like something
Wally.
fun.
Wally would have been fun
Doug.
too, yeah.
How did Doug stick?
Oh,
son?
Doug is so sweet.
It's a cute name, though. But yeah, so this is where we film the live shows, which there's a lot of fun things to look at.
Yeah,
It's
there
easy
is.
to
I'm
get
like,
distracted.
"Whoa, look at that."
Much like in Japan with all of the records to look at.
Yeah.
So you guys obviously know this, and that probably but for those of you watching, Brooke and I also got to go to Japan was it 2 years ago. We hit 55 record stores in Japan.
That's awesome.
Sweet.
This is not a contest.
I'm like, maybe next time we go, it's going to be
How many
60,
record stores
you know?
did you guys hit?
54. Wah, wah.
Yeah.
But we spent 2 weeks. We went to Kyoto, Osaka, and to Tokyo. And so many unique record stores. Like they're themed. That kind of caught me by surprise. Like you'll go to a record store and it's all like rockabilly. I didn't even know there were that many rockabilly records in the world.
Interesting.
We stumbled into one and the guy running it looked like one of the rockabilly guys. He had leather on and like slicked back hair and like he could have been from the 1950s. And then you go to the next one and it's like an 80s slant and you're like, this is so
metal.
yeah.
Wow.
So I love that about Japan. And the thing that I loved, they were also supportive of the other record stores. Like I feel like in the US, there's a little bit of a competitive nature.
Mhm, yeah.
So we try and be loving to all record stores, but it happens. Like there's a limited supply. People get like their favorite record store. But in Japan, they're so nice about, oh, you like rockabilly. You got to go see, Yoshi over there. He has great stuff. Or like, I love that they're also like loving, like they had maps where you could like see all the record stores
Very
on the map.
helpful, yeah.
And like, they're just like, go see our friends over at the metal store. Like,
That just means I just need to make another trip to go. For sure.
yeah, it's hard to, the language barrier is real.
Yeah.
Did you guys have any trouble with that when you were in Japan?
We
Yeah.
did. I mean, Google Translate was our friend, but
It helps.
how helpful people were makes such a difference
Yeah.
because they appreciate that you're trying your best to learn the 3 or 4 phrases that you can remember.
Yeah.
And that you're carrying around a little conversational book to,
Yeah.
to look things up and pronouncing things in broken Japanese, but they're trying in Japanese in English. There's something that breaks barriers though, where you kind of just understand each other
Yeah.
on,
Isn't it? That was one of the 2 big surprises were just how friendly the people were, how clean the city was.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Like when I heard of Tokyo, I'm thinking New York on steroids.
right?
Like you're just like stepping over bodies. Like there's rats that'll attack you if you stay in one spot too long.
Giant ones.
Yeah. But alligators obviously in the sewers. But it was like so clean. Like
Oh,
you
yeah.
would walk down the street and it would be quiet. Nobody's really like talking on phones. That was one thing that surprised me. It's very rude to talk on the phone.
Mm-hmm.
So
And eat out in the street too. Like
Yeah.
I had to tell
You
my
don't even
dad,
drink.
you can't take your soda and just drink it wherever on the street. Like you
Yeah.
can't do that.
it's kind of crazy.
Yeah.
So, but Japan, the other thing that I love too was the friendly people. And I think that's my takeaway. We went out to eat one night, and I have to tell you this cute story. So, for those of you who don't know, I surprised Brooke by proposing to her in Japan. She had no
Aw.
idea. I tricked her into thinking it was a business trip, which is kind of funny. And we went during the cherry blossom festivals, so they were like
Perfect
blooming.
timing, yeah.
Like we couldn't have timed it better. But as we're like traveling around to stores, I'm starting to feel a little panicky because I know that I'm proposing in less than a day. And so Brooke even started to sense that I was a little on edge. And because I kept waiting for like the perfect moment. And so I had it all planned out. It was going to be the perfect day. We were going to go out and see the blossoms. We were going to go to this temple where there's a tradition that the engaged couples crawl between these rocks, and it symbolizes leaving your old life behind and starting a new journey.
Oh, wow.
Like I had planned all this out. From the time I was a young boy, I had dreamed of how I was going to attempt this, right? It all went wrong. Like we got to things late, we were rushed, there were crowds of people.
Oh.
We got to the blossoms and it was so many people, I didn't even have like this romantic spot. And I was getting
He
so
grumpy, and I was like, "What is happening?" They had like corn dogs, which is his favorite
Yeah.
thing.
You might need to come over here and chat if you're going to do on a podcast.
Oh, no.
We got microphones, young lady. You can come over here and chat with me. But yeah, so the whole day was kind of just like it fell apart. And I was getting so upset. And then Brooke was sensing it. And she's like, "What is wrong with you?" And I was just like, "It's not right. Like, it's not right." She's like, "What is happening?"
Like, we need to go.
Yeah, I was like, "We got to go. We got to go." And then it fell apart. Nothing happened. The second day, though, it just all like came
Aligned.
together. We went to the bamboo forest. We hiked up this mountain.
Aw.
There was this little like bamboo hut, and it like overlooked the valley. The trees were blooming, and that's where I proposed.
Sounds so beautiful
Yeah.
and nice.
And it's funny how traveling can be like that, right? Like
Yeah.
your moods just shift all over the place, and it's always like the unexpected moments in traveling, like the things that you plan, it doesn't quite go
Yeah.
according to plan,
And
and
when
then
you
the
try
things
and
you don't
force
know
it,
about, all of a sudden you have this moment that like you never forget.
Yeah. and I feel like that's my takeaway with travel is you have to be open to experiences and like
Yep.
fluid.
Oh, yeah.
Like if you have a rigid schedule, it's never going to go how you think.
Yep.
You're going to get a late start. The crowds are going to be like, but when you are open to that moment where you're like, I didn't know there was this cool little shop next door and we explored and it was our favorite thing. And so you just have to kind of be open.
You do need to make some plans though, because if you make no plans and you're just like, oh, we're just gonna go and figure it out,
That's true.
then you spend like a lot of time just like everybody just argues and you,
Not
you
having
can't,
dinner
Yeah.
a
Can't
couple
figure out what
nights
to
in
eat, yeah.
Australia because we didn't plan.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah,
like-
that may or may not happen.
Yeah. So with traveling, you guys, how long have you been together?
So we're coming up on our 11th anniversary this month.
Mhm.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
So what would you say? Obviously, I'm new to this. I'm like 8 months in. I mean, I'm crushing it right now.
Crushing it.
But
I'm all-
there's always room for improvement. As Brooke's looking at me funny, there's always room for improvement.
Mhm.
Give me a pro tip right now. You guys have seen some things, done some things. What would you say for me? What do I need to do? Keep the
I would say always communicate.
Yeah, and
Communicate everything.
yeah, I mean, don't keep secrets, and it's like you gotta have very open dialogue about your feelings. Like this is the person that you can totally be yourself with.
Yeah.
And even if you're saying something that you feel is really weird to share with anybody else,
yeah.
that's the one person that you can be yourself with. But
Yeah.
don't just like launch it at them at the wrong time, but make sure you're in the right space and just
Yeah.
tell people how you feel. And
The thing I'm taking from that is tell Brooke more weird things.
more weird things. Yep.
I feel like I'm
Keep David weird.
Yeah. I love that. The thing that I found too is like the communication thing, right? I feel like you grow and become a different person over time.
Mhm.
New experiences, new hobbies, new things, interactions. You're making new friends. I feel like the key from what I've seen too is you have to grow together.
Yep.
Because you don't stay the same person you were 11 years ago. And I'm sure you guys have changed over time too.
Yeah.
So with music, I find that that's true too.
Mhm.
Do you feel like you guys have changed musically over time? Like, how has that changed from the time you were like a kid, a teen, an adult? Like, how has your musical taste changed over time?
I'm more open to what's called a Kevin music.
Yep.
So
Kevin music.
Yeah.
Tell me about Kevin music.
Oh, yeah.
What is Kevin like
So Kevin
musically?
has a very different, eclectic kind of music that he likes.
Okay.
And I would have never myself picked it up, like to listen to it by myself. Like I would have never.
Give me
come
an
across
example of like a band that Kevin may like that you're kind of. It took some time.
Seeker Rouse.
Oh,
Yeah, that's Kevin music.
okay.
I feel like he whines and moans a lot in his music, and it's not for me.
Okay.
You should still not into Tom Waits.
Yeah, I don't like Tom Waits.
Okay.
Nope. But like I'm more open to listening to Seeker Rose.
Yeah.
But yeah, that would have been never been a genre that I would have just.
You
heard
surprised me with
personally.
tickets for a
Yeah,
concert, and that was like a bad day for me. Like that was like one of the worst days of my life at work, and I was in like the worst mood ever.
And this is when you surprised him.
She surprised me, and I was like trying to like enjoy the moment, and I enjoyed the concert because
Yeah.
I appreciated everything she did for me, but I was in such a bad mood from that day at work.
Yeah.
It was
It took a lot for me to want to go to that.
Yeah.
You're just like.
hit purchase on those tickets.
Do you feel like in the end though that was that gesture, that like getting out of your?
oh absolutely.
It
Like
helped.
I still absolutely loved it. It was just hard for me to be fully present there. I mean, I still enjoyed it and I still
Yeah.
remember it. But yeah, that day at work, I don't even want to talk about that day at
Yeah,
work.
we won't get into that. I can
Yeah.
sense it from here. So.
Yeah, but like for you, like you would have never went to purchase VIP tickets for the used.
No.
I'd drag you along to these things, and you're like,
Yeah.
okay.
So
but
let's
yeah.
let's flip the script though.
Okay.
So Kevin, what's some Brittany music that maybe you wouldn't have listened to quite as much? Is there some bands or type of music?
I didn't really listen much to say like the Black Eyed Peas
Okay.
before,
So
or even
Fergie Ferg.
yeah, or Britney Spears, or
Okay.
actually, the big one for me has been like more rap, like Notorious B.I.G.
Okay.
Like I love is it Superstar? Is that the name of the song? I can't even remember. He talked about Super Nintendo, Sega Genesis.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So those were kind of some bands that like
Yeah.
maybe without Brittany to like.
I like to think of myself as like off the beaten path, not liking mainstream stuff, and she likes more mainstream stuff, and it's gotten me to be like, okay, maybe I shouldn't be so judgmental of just because something's popular. Maybe it is still cool.
Which is interesting that you had such different takes like that. Like for Brooke and I was more of that 90s grunge alternative. And Brooke
Mhm.
just has that 80s dialed in. Like she's
Yeah.
an 80s girl. She knows her bands and she has good taste, which I have to appreciate. And I didn't listen to a lot of like new wave. I didn't listen to a lot of like the 80s kind of more pop stuff. And I love though that we get to share that with each other.
Mhm.
And correct me if I'm wrong, because maybe that's the same for you, but it's become this bonding thing. And I feel like collecting music, listening to music, I love it when a song comes on that Brooke just loves and she just starts dancing around the room. And this,
Mhm.
like, I see it in her eyes, this joy of like, here's this thing that I'm sharing with you. And I can't help but like smile and start dancing with her. And to me, that's one of those like moments that I love. And I get to share that. And I wouldn't have maybe necessarily listened to that before.
Mhm. Yeah, I mean, we get to like because we have one record player. Well, we have two, but one that we mainly listen to stuff, and we do a share thing where you listen to one of yours and listen
Yeah.
to one of mine, and then sometimes it'll be like I'll pick one of yours and I'll
Yep.
pick one of his to listen to. So like we
Yeah. Get
yeah,
to
we
share the
we get
music.
to share and listen to music together. Yeah.
Is there been a band that maybe you've come together and that's become like your band? Is there like anything like that you both have enjoyed so much that you're like, we both love this band?
I wasn't I was a Beatles fan, but not like a big Beatles fan like Kevin is, but I've come to appreciate their music a lot more. And I have some of their records because of it. So I would say maybe the Beatles.
The Beatles?
Kevin, maybe? I don't know.
A,
What,
a couple I'd add. As we started record collecting, we really got into Chicago. Like
Oh, yeah,
both of us
Chicago.
always kind of liked it, but then like you picked up like one of the early records you picked up when you started doing this was a Chicago, or did your dad give it to you? I can't
No,
remember.
it was one I picked up.
And we were just listening to it one day when we had the record player, and we are like, this is really, really good.
It's like they're older, earlier kind of stuff.
It's amazing with the Beatles too, how varied their music is, isn't it?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Like they had some amazing songs. Little known fact, they also had some that weren't so good. Not that we'll name names or
Kevin's
like,
like, I don't agree with that.
yeah. Kevin's like, I love all of the Beatles.
It's true. It's
Wrong.
true.
I love that. Just real quick, Brittany, if you want to like pull your mic a little further from you,
Oh,
like,
is it
maybe
really loud?
move it towards the middle. It's just getting a little feedback, so move it just a little bit towards the middle. We'll cut this part out.
Right, like right there.
Maybe just a little bit more towards you.
Oh, towards me?
Yeah, just a hint.
Oh.
But right there.
And like that.
Yeah. Okay, let's see how that
Okay.
sounds.
Sure, I'll talk for a minute. I just was it was very quiet, so that's why I moved it for a
Yeah.
minute because I thought it was quiet.
Brooke, do you want to?
Could you see that? How did you see that?
What?
How did you know that?
Let's just turn her mic volume. We'll cut this part, but find her mic as she talks into it.
Okay, speaking 1, 2,
Because now
3.
she's like lower. But can you hear feedback or something?
Yeah, there's just like a little hint of feedback. So let's just lower her mic volume. Which you see the little slider? So when she talks, it'll flash.
Mm-hmm.
Brittany, talk real quick.
Okay, talk.
Yes, okay.
So lower it just a little bit. Okay, talk again.
Okay, talk again. 1, 2, 3. A little bit better?
Yeah.
Better?
Do you guys hear feedback at all?
No.
I hear this little high pitched sound sometimes.
Yeah.
Somewhere. I don't know if it's when you're talking or something else.
Yeah, I don't know if it's just feedback from the mic. Let me just adjust real quick. I just want to be sure. We'll pause it real quick. We can cut this out easy. So
I just thought that was in my head, but
I know. I thought.
but if it's in my head and your head, then maybe it's real.
So let's just. Okay, then which one was hers? Brittany, you want to
This
talk
one.
real quick?
Okay, talk.
Mhm.
I don't hear it as much as before, I think. Maybe.
Seems okay.
Yeah.
I think.
Maybe it's a little bit better now.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Let's just listen real quick. Go ahead.
Okay, talking 1, 2, 3.
Yeah.
Talk.
Okay.
Okay.
And we're back.
And we're back.
And we're back, everybody.
And
Welcome.
scene.
Commercial break.
So I want to actually talk about the Beatles real quick.
Great.
So I feel like you're not going to disagree with this.
I'm not gonna
Very influential band for me too.
Yep.
Like going to Abbey Road was one of those trips where it was like
Oh.
so amazing to walk where they walked and to the studio where they record one of their great albums and Pink Floyd Dark Side of the Moon recorded.
Yeah.
But for you, what was it about the Beatles that
So-
like drew you to them?
The first time I really got into them, I want to say 8th grade, near Christmas time. It wasn't Christmas yet because I got Sergeant Pepper's for Christmas that year. But it was just randomly watching just a documentary about them like late at night. And I was like, I knew their music at that point. Like I'd heard a few songs here and there, but I was just for some reason just really drawn into it.
Yeah.
Then I got that first CD because I was starting to get CDs and starting to collect things on my own, and I just listened to it over and over and over and over.
Isn't it fun when you find a band like that you can like, it's almost like compulsive. You have to keep listening.
Mhm.
I get that with songs sometimes. I'll hear a song and it's so good. I'm like, I'm going to listen to that again. And then suddenly I'm like 10 times in
Mhm.
and then it just like, it's like cements in my brain. And I'm like, I love this song.
Mhm.
And just the transition from this song to like if I listen to it out of order, it's just like
Doesn't seem
I
right.
can't- yeah, so something's wrong. And
Yeah. And that's one of the things about albums that I feel like I love. Maybe you guys appreciate that, but I feel like bands intended an album to be listened from front to back. And I love it, the intention. Like they thought, let's start with this song because I feel like it'll invoke an emotion. And then let's flow into this other song. And then by the time you get to the end of the album, they've like created this moment for you, this experience. And I feel like the Beatles did an amazing job with from anything from like Hey Jude, which to me was one of my favorites, to like Abbey Road, to like Yellow Submarine. Like all of those albums to me were intentional. They had songs in an order that they wanted you to listen to.
Yeah.
Do you feel like you felt that too with some of their albums?
yeah. And for me, I mean, top song is Fool on the Hill, which isn't most people's, but it's
Yeah.
kind of a silly reason, but it always just had to just pick one. So I just picked
Yeah.
it, and really because my birthday is April Fool's. So
Ooh.
I just kind of
You just
settled on that.
gravitated
Yeah,
towards that?
but it's a great song. It's just this mellow sound with
Yeah.
the flutes and everything, and I just feel like that's just me.
Yeah.
And so I've just latched onto it.
You identified with that song? I
That's
love
right.
it. So Brittany, do you have a band or a song that kind of comes to mind? I saw your eyes kind of light up as we were talking about.
Yeah, I know I talk about The Used a lot. I really love The Used. The song Over and Over Again. I could listen to that song over and over again. Like, and I feel like that was intentional for them to just, I don't know, it's just so catchy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
there's something about like when you have that song that maybe you relate to a little bit too. Like for me, the lyrics are important. I know some genres it's not as important. Metal's more just about the, getting into that like emotion.
Yeah.
But for some genres, I feel like the songwriting was so important. Supposedly there's this genre called folk music. For me, it ventures into the country realm, but supposedly it's a separate genre from country. But all joking aside, like I feel like folk music, like lyrics were so like important. Like we
Yep.
talked about Bob Dylan a little bit. He was a master at lyrics. Like the way he could compose a song, like his voice, you can argue was maybe not as polished, but the words carried such power that that's what people were drawn to.
Yeah.
Like I feel like there's a lot of artists out there like Bob that like they just had this way with words and it was beautiful when it was sang. Is there any other bands for you that like the lyrics are like it just draws you in when you listen?
I'm a fan of Angels and Airwaves.
Me too.
The album.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyways, I feel like they sing a lot of love songs type, but they're like different. It's
Yeah.
not the traditional love songs, but he sings a lot about love in a lot of his songs.
Yeah.
I really like it.
And it's interesting too with the lyrics because you're right. Like he talks about love, but it's like from a different view.
Mm-hmm.
Like you're probably a fan of Plus 44 as well,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
I've been on like
Yeah.
did you get that purple variant?
Yes, I did.
So-
Well, Interscope, yes. Thank you for repressing a bunch of stuff. Yes,
Yeah.
thank you. Yeah.
I think we probably ordered it at the exact same moment.
Well,
when
yeah,
we
I
saw that.
had to have my brother order it because I was going to be gone when it arrived, so I had to go to his house
Oh.
to make sure that I would get it. Otherwise, it would just sit on my porch and they'll probably disappear. But yeah,
I've been listening to that just nonstop. But for me with that, the lyrics too, like just the
Mhm.
subtle things, like I'll be there when your heart stops beating. Like if you just break down that little line, like it's such a beautiful and like darkly poetic thing. Like
Mhm.
saying that you love this person so much that you'll be there in that final moment and your love is still going to be just as strong.
yeah.
Like you don't think of that from a Blink 182 song.
No.
You think like angsty, like my mom sucks.
What's my age?
What's
again?
my age again? Like
Yeah.
take off your pants and jacket. Why not? But there was also some really like Blink had some like really beautiful moments in their lyrics too. But
Yeah.
this is one of the traditions.
Mhm.
I kind of love this because it really gives us a glimpse into like how it all started for you. So we kind of teased with Beatles, and you've kind of talked about the used. But
Yeah.
let's go back as far as we can remember
Mhm.
to that moment when you bought your very first album. Do you remember what that was, Brittany?
So vinyl wise, yes.
'Kay.
It was the used. It was
Was it?
artwork. Yeah, artwork.
I love it. So
I didn't even have a record player at the time. I bought it because it was in a bundle with a hoodie, and I was like, I was thinking, maybe I'll put this on my wall. This would be really cool
Yeah.
art. And
so
I'll
it was
wear
like the
hoodie and stuff.
artwork and
Yeah, so I bought it, but then it sat for a long time without being able to be played until we got a vinyl record player. Then I was able to open it and play it.
I don't know if this statistic is true, but I'm pretty sure all statistics are slightly skewed. But I read at one point, this was a few years ago, that out of all the people that collect records, it's something like 25% don't actually have a working record player. Like, isn't that, if that is true, which we're going to assume somewhere on the internet that was correct.
Definitely.
But it's interesting, though, that like there's more than just the music with records.
Yeah.
There's an appeal of collecting the artwork you talked about. Like you bought that used album because you're like, this would be kind of cool to hang on a wall. Like, do you
It
feel
never
like,
went on the wall, but yeah.
do you feel like for records that it's more than the music? Like, what is it about collecting records that appeals to you?
The variants, all the different as I say, the vinyl itself when they have like splatters or different colors of them, like just how they're all so different and unique from each one of them. Like I think that's cool. Kevin doesn't necessarily feel like he needs to collect all the different variants.
That's
So
not
when
a
I
Bit of a
have like
cheapskate.
5 of the same used albums or
Yeah.
a couple of Angels and Airwaves variants, he's like, why are you collecting these?
Yeah,
And I'm like,
you
"Shut
just
up, I
need
have
one."
to have it. Like,
Yeah.
I finally did collect 2 of an album.
oh, you did?
Tell us about
Yeah.
this. This is a big moment.
Do I remember? Do I know this?
You should know
Oh,
because I got it recently.
okay. Well, maybe I forgot.
Tell
this,
us
so you should
The,
tell me.
Will
the Butcher
you-
album.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Yep.
I feel like that's one that you should have as many as you can get.
Yeah. Okay, I do remember.
Yeah.
That.
Maybe it's something about being a good fan that you're like, I love these so much that I want to like.
Yeah.
have
Yeah.
So
Yep.
yeah, especially when you're trying to collect all of their stuff too.
Yeah. I mean,
Like-
some of the albums they've only pressed once, and to get it, you have to spend some money, and I've had to do that on some of them.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So the used is yours. So that was the first album that you've bought.
Yep.
Kevin, for you.
So first album. Okay, and we'll say first album, not non-vinyl, because I'm a little foggy on that one. But first album was a CD. It was The Simpsons Singing the Blues.
Was it really? That's amazing.
Yeah.
So Bart was just getting in there, like
Yeah,
getting
you do the
throaty.
Bart man,
Yeah.
And
Yeah. Was Ralphie on there as well?
there was no Ralphie on there,
Oh.
but there was the Lisa Monin blues. I got a bratty brother. He beats me every day.
Yeah. I'm trying to think of who else. Maybe Mr. Burns, just a soulful.
I think there was a Mr. Burns song on there.
Yeah.
There was obviously Homer was singing on there.
You got to have Homer.
Silly.
That was my first album. There may have been some cassette tapes, but I do very distinctly remember.
You remember that?
That's right.
So I love that was what got you started. It was Bart and blues.
That's right.
That's cool. And you guys have already heard mine a lot, but sometimes I wish I could go back and change it. I feel like you two have like pretty solid first picks. But for me, I think what got me started is collecting. Like, I'm a collector. Like, as a kid, I would collect rocks, stamps, just anything that had a variant. I wanted it. So I really like, Brittany, me and you, our souls are very similar with that. But records for me, it's fun to collect. And sometimes I have to take a step back and realize, like, okay, it's not just collecting. I don't need every variant. Like, it's about the music too. And it's important to have both.
Right. Well, I will play my high expensive records that people are like, why'd you open that? I'm like, because I like it. I'm going to play it. I'll play it.
Okay, let's give a hypothetical. Say, and I'm going to go big with this one. So, Kevin, your eye's going to twitch when I say this. You stumble upon, you're out digging in the wild, right? You come across this record, you're flipping through. It's a Beatles Butcher album, sealed, like has not been opened.
Oh.
You buy it for $7. Screaming deal, right?
Yeah.
That thing's probably worth $100,000. Do you open it? Brittany, what's your decision? Beatles Butcher.
Because I'm probably not a Beatles fan.
Did I go too big with that example?
I probably wouldn't open it.
Okay.
And I'd give it to Kevin and be like, you decide what you want to do.
And then Kevin, what's your decision?
Now, because I have other copies of that specific one, then no, I don't open it.
Okay. I'm gonna rework my scenario. That was a bad example. Okay. The Beatles put together a bunch of songs nobody has ever heard. They pressed it on one record, and this is the only record that exists. Nobody has ever heard it before. So it's extremely rare, extremely valuable. But if you just slice open that side, you could hear Beatles songs that nobody has ever heard. Walk me through it. Are we opening it? Are we keeping it sealed?
I'm opening it.
I'm opening it. Yep. Sorry.
Okay.
Sorry, not sorry.
Yeah.
Opening it, yeah.
I like it. That's two very different scenarios. I like that
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, nice. And so we have the Bartman,
We have
some
the
blues. We have the used.
Well, that wasn't my first, that was my first vinyl. Like,
Yeah.
if we're talking like CD kind of albums,
Yeah.
it was probably Madonna.
Like maybe Like a Virgin or
Yeah.
that album.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a classic. Brooke has since showed me that one. Be like, oh, this is a lady named Madonna sings some great songs. Just kidding. I don't know. I was just giving her a little credit. So that made me look extremely unknowledgeable about the 80s. But
That's some good stuff.
yeah. So music, though, has a huge impact on people. We've talked about like how it can influence emotion. You're having a rough day. You listen to
Music
a song.
can save lives.
Yeah. And
Like, you can do a lot of
that's
things.
not an exaggeration.
No.
For you guys, how has music played into your lives, like in that emotional realm? Are you listening to songs when you're in a bad mood, a good mood? Like, how has music helped you through some of the times in your life? Do you feel like?
Yeah, I would say like if I'm having a bad day or a rough day, it will definitely influence what kind of music I listen to. So maybe it might be more a little screamo, so I could scream with it to help get that rage out that I might be feeling. Or, or sometimes, if I'm sad, maybe it might be more of a sadder album to help me cry it out.
Yeah.
But yeah, as I say, it definitely influences what I listen to.
For me, like 99% of the time, I have a song in my head, and I'll replace it with lyrics about cats all the time, and I will sing this to Brittany all the time.
Yep, made up cat songs all day, every day. Usually about Jubei, sometimes about Marie. Be We had 2 cats. Jubei's no longer with us, but yeah.
But
Jubei,
yeah, I will sing about
So-
cats, and I will turn all kinds of songs into cat songs.
Yep.
Okay, so you have like a melody in your head from a normal song.
Yeah, I mean, it's like the last song I was listening into in my car on my way to work. It'll carry on, and I'll wake up in the morning the next day, and I'm still singing that song in my head, and then I'll replace words that because I'm really good at remembering tunes, but not lyrics, so I replace it with cats, and cat themed things.
Yeah, things cats do, the cats you have.
Yeah, that's right.
I love that.
Yeah, so I get to hear all sorts of
Kitty songs
new kitty creation songs by Kevin almost every day.
every day.
I'm just gonna say this: next holiday, whether it's Valentine's, birthday, maybe take a used song and replace some lyrics and sing it.
No,
I think there are certain bands I think I get in trouble with, so I steer clear.
Yeah.
No, don't ruin it for me.
Okay.
Don't ruin it.
I think I've done
That's
that
a bad
with some
idea.
My Kim before.
Yeah.
And
She's like,
Nope.
Nope, we're not doing that. With your new band, though, this could be a direction to look into.
Yeah, I think so. I mean,
Yeah.
I've got 3 other band members. They might not
Yeah.
agree, but they might.
I think you need to be pretty insistent.
I
Stefan
agree.
Wolf needs to have
Stephen Wolf and cats.
Yeah, it's a
And boots and cats
combination.
and boots and cats.
Boots and cats.
Well, I'm now on pins and needles waiting for this new album to come out.
That's right.
It'll be good,
Everybody will get an invite to the first show for
Mhm.
sure.
Absolutely.
and we'll get you signed to the Daybreak Records label because
Yes.
obviously I'm always
Oh,
picking
yeah,
up new
yeah,
ventures, so
Right.
we'll sign you guys, and
Nice.
stardom is on its way. So, but yeah, for me, music, like it's so powerful. Like it's kind of wild to me how much that can influence your mood. And even like talking to people going through hard things, like you hear that story of that high school kid who just wasn't quite finding his people, and he listens to a certain genre and he's like, man, I just felt like I found my people, or somebody gets me. And I love that music can be there for people like that. And especially too, I feel like it helps create community. And this is one thing I love about our group, Daybreak Records. I feel like it's become more than just an auction. It's more than a record store. It's more than just a Facebook group. Like, to me, we've transcended somehow this, like, into this, like, we're friends, we're family, we're like invested in each other, like how we're doing. If somebody's going through a hard thing, we're there for them.
Yeah.
And I've been so amazed, like when some of our group members have gone through some really terrible things, like a leg amputation, cancer, having a family member die. Like, it's amazing to me to see our group rally behind them like that.
Yeah.
And music has done that. It's created this group of people that were like so invested in each other's lives, and like we're bonded because of this shared hobby. Like it's hard to think of another hobby that would do that.
Well, and it's as people get older, it's harder to like make friends
Yeah.
and find ways to connect with people as you get older, like without being awkward, because you don't have school to do that. You know, like some people don't go to church, like you don't have the church groups to do things like that. So like being able to be a part of this community has really helped. Kevin and I have like in life, real life, in friends. Like I have friends that I've met through like purse communities and groups that I was in before, but you know, like people move on from those sorts of things, and like there was a hole left in my life where I'm like, I felt like I needed to connect with people, and stumbling, upon Daybreak Records, and then watching for a little bit to see how things go, to see if I was ready to like fully jump in, because I knew what this was going to entail once I did, and like I'm very happy I made the choice to start collecting and to interact with the group and be a part of the group. Like,
Brittany, are
it's
you
been a good
saying that
thing.
you like to dive into a hobby head first, like all in?
Oh yeah, like
And I'm not a collector, and so this is kind of
But
a
I
new
am,
thing for me to start collecting. For us to have a shared thing.
Yeah.
So like every Friday, I get off work a little early, and it's kind of been our thing to just
It's called So-Fry.
Fry, and then we go hit up the record shops, and
Sometimes it might be a bookstore. Sometimes we'll go out to dinner. Like sometimes it might be a movie.
it's really. I mean, I feel like we've had a strong relationship, but it's just strengthened it in a way that I just never thought, possible. So.
Yeah, I mean, because Kevin's not going to collect purses.
Yeah.
I mean, I told him he totally could, but he doesn't want to do that.
I'll model with one, but that's about it.
Maybe if they were cat themed purses, he would be more
I think
inclined
you got
to
a few, don't you?
I probably
leopard
do.
print or.
Yeah.
But that's interesting though, because I feel like for us that's done that too. Like we'll play a game at night and put on a record, and it's just this fun like shared moment where we get to listen to music, spend time together, it's making you be intentional with each other too.
Yeah,
Like-
we've done that. Played games with records too. Yeah, it's great. Like,
Yeah.
instead of just one person going off and I'm gonna go play my Nintendo Switch for a minute, and I'm gonna go watch this show, and
Mhm.
but yeah, instead we're like, no, let's do this together. And
Instead of being like, I'm gonna go perform close-up magic. Like she's like, well, let's spend time together as a couple
yeah,
instead.
I think it's been a good background is whenever we've need to have serious talks about things too.
Oh.
We'll be playing a record for a little bit, and then
Oh, I've never
Oh,
ventured.
serious.
This could be maybe the thing that we're not doing.
yeah, maybe.
Like next time we're having that finance talk where we need to talk about something serious, maybe we put on a little Oingo Boingo, make it a little playful. Danny Elfman will make it a little bit
Yeah.
easier to talk about budgeting our finances.
Yeah, I mean, could be the key.
Yeah. Or maybe it's just straight metal. It's
Yeah.
just like, we gotta budget our finances.
What is this $500 charge? yeah,
That could go either way.
yeah.
But I actually like that. So let's talk about that a little bit. Like, so I never honestly even thought of that. Like, you're having maybe a tough conversation. You found that music has helped that kind of.
yeah, I think because it's not like you're watching TV where you're kind of zoned out, but music, especially if it's something. I mean, it depends on what it is. If it's something where you're totally absorbed in the music, like you're hearing this for the first time, that's maybe not the right setting.
Yeah.
But something where it's like you kind of know it, and it's like
Maybe a little background noise.
it's something that you can kind of multitask to. I'm
Yeah.
a terrible multitasker, but it's we're spending time together, and it sets the right setting for us to talk. I mean, because we had some tough things going on with my kids and things like that, and it's been just a good way to open up about those things and plan. What are we going to do about their situation, our situation, and
Oh, I'd like that actually.
Yeah.
And then even like the quiet moments when you like maybe need time to process or think, or you say something and the other person's processing.
Yeah.
Maybe that little bit of music helps the silence not be so like deafening of like,
right.
gives you
Yeah.
a little time before you respond even. So we're going to challenge our listeners out there. Next time you need to have a heated conversation with somebody, put a little music on in the background. See if that,
A good soundtrack is
yeah,
a good thing sometimes. Yeah.
yeah. The Wicked soundtrack, maybe to just,
Oh, you're gonna listen to that?
maybe.
Well,
I don't know. Stranger things have happened. Maybe Stranger Things.
well,
Yeah, Stranger Things is a good soundtrack.
That would be great.
Yeah, it's
So,
got some good stuff on there.
yeah. So going down, obviously live music. Let's talk that a little bit. So we've talked about records. We've talked about putting a record on. Are you guys concert people?
I love to go to concerts. Pretty much 90% of the concerts that we go to are basically my concerts.
So it's like, you're like, okay, this band's
I'm
coming
like, oh,
to
this
town.
is coming. We're going like, yeah, we're traveling to go see My Chemical Romance in August.
Okay.
Nine Inch Nails is coming in August. We just saw The Used. I mean, we don't have any concerts planned for Kevin. to go
yeah. I
see,
mean,
but-
I kind of forget to keep up. I was looking at a few that we when we were traveling, Mogwai was here. I wouldn't have minded seeing them.
That would have been a cool one. Is there another band that you
I
haven't
found
seen?
out when we were at the Used that
I think-
Elbow is coming.
Yeah, I think is it Spoon coming too?
No, Spoon's not.
Are you sure? Or the Specials maybe?
No.
I feel like there's somebody that's coming to the Sandy Amphitheater soon. That's totally a band that's
Who
for
was
you.
it? Yeah, a
With
lot.
Kevin music.
Mumford and Sons.
No. I missed Nickel Creek last year. That would have been
Yeah.
awesome.
P. Diddy canceled his concert, so he's
Yeah,
not
yeah,
coming
he's-
anytime soon.
Yeah.
Darn.
Yeah. A lot of times I see bands there that I think, okay, I'd like to see them, but I'm kind of like, I don't necessarily like the uncomfortable chair and sitting around, and I don't know. I'm
See,
kind
and
of
I love that. I love going to when Warped Tour was here, like I was all day Warped Touring. Like
Okay.
I loved stuff like that. Like
So a festival is appealing,
yeah.
like a
but
whole
not
day.
not Coachella. Like I don't want to go camp.
Yeah.
Where people are intense and they gotta go to the weird showers. Like I don't want to do
Yeah.
that. I want to be able to go back to my own bed at the end
Yeah.
of the day.
Yeah.
So
get that.
but yeah, like I loved Warped Tour when they would come and
I mean, I used to love that. My first huge concert when I was 16. Not my first concert, but the first big one was the Free Tibet concert when I was 96. And I had Beastie Boys, I had
That's
Smashing Pumpkins, I had Bjork,
that's-
all kinds of. That was like a world changing life experience for me. Like it was like the first time I'd gone to California. I saw outside of Utah, and it was
it
like
wasn't Utah.
yeah, right. It was.
And here you are listening to these incredible bands as you're experiencing this new place.
Your mom would never allow you to
Oh yeah,
listen
I
to
mean,
as a
San Francisco
child.
was just a very wild place to me, and I absolutely loved it there. But yeah, and you know, back then I would get in the mosh pit and I would crowd surf. Nowadays, that doesn't really appeal to me so much.
I feel like the length of time it takes me to heal now is increasing.
Yep.
So it's like, is it worth, getting out there and taking that stray?
Yeah, I wondered how I was going to feel 2 days back to back of these, but I was actually
It was okay.
But I was like, as we're getting older, I don't know, because he'd be like, let's everybody get in the middle and start moshing, and I'm like, I don't want to be in that. Like, absolutely not.
We found
No
some
way.
chairs.
Yes.
I was like, no, I'm not going to do that.
We had a couple moments too at a concert too where people were like pressing against you, like pushing you. And I remember back in the day, it was like fun. It's like, yeah, the energy's awesome. And now I'm like,
You're out
that
there
is kind of
touching me.
rude. I'm trying to enjoy my concert here and you're pressing into my back.
Right?
Things change a little bit.
Yeah.
Yep.
But
Well, it's interesting, like, just speaking about that, like, I don't know, this might be off topic a little bit, but like how your parents, your music is influenced by what your parents listened to back in the day. So like,
yeah.
I'm a Rush fan, like a Queen fan. Like I listen to bands that my dad listened to back in the day because I love bands like that. But he's now opened up where he likes bands nowadays. Like he's a Blink-182 fan.
Really?
And he
He's
talks
like,
about like finding albums with all these, compilations. He's asked about Justin Timberlake, if he has a greatest hits. Like it's interesting to see his take on music change just as our music is influenced by him too.
We were listening to Nirvana in the car with him the other day. He's like, "Who's this?" It's like, "Come as you are," and we're like, "Come on, please!" But of course, we
I like this, and
Yeah.
I'm like,
so that
"Oh
was
my
his
gosh,
first
mind
time
blown."
hearing Nirvana.
I think he'd heard it. He just didn't recognize. Like for us, it's like,
Yeah, it's Nirvana.
That's, Nirvana, yeah.
Yeah.
but he knew it. He'd heard it. He's like, "I like this song, you guys." And
Like Bloodhound Gang. the
Oh,
other
yeah.
day.
He heard that and he's like, I like these guys.
Because I had bought an album like way back when, but he'd heard it recently and was like, I remember this. Who is this? And
he was like asking about that song on the Discovery Channel, right?
yeah, and I was like, I'll tell you later, because his wife is not a Bloodhound Gang fan whatsoever. She's not.
She
into
probably
any
wouldn't
kinda,
put that on. So.
No,
Not approved.
nope,
Yeah.
nope. So yeah, I was like, oh, I'll tell you about it later. But yeah, it's interesting to see his interests in music have changed.
Which is so funny because you think of the reverse, right? Like,
Uh-huh.
okay, my parents influenced what I listen to, but it's fun that it's come full circle where now he's like, there's a whole new world of music and I'm discovering some of these things that you like too.
Yeah,
I love that you get to like expose that side of like
Yeah.
music.
and I love that he's open to it too. That's the great part about it,
'Cause-
because usually some people are like, no, this is my genre. This is who I like. I'm not listening to anybody else. Like
Yeah.
that's it. And
One of our favorite things we do, so Brooke's stepdad, he just has his music and it's all the way up until 1958 and then stops. And he's just like, nope, anything past that I don't like. And it's our favorite thing to make him listen to like newer bands. And like we'll put it on and he'll be like, no.
He played the Foo Fighters program. He
Yep.
was like, that's not music.
Yeah, the Foo Fighters came on and he's just like, this is not music. And he kept like shaking his head like it was like infecting his head.
that's funny.
So sometimes it doesn't stick.
Right.
So it's nice that when people are open to trying new
Right.
things.
Yep.
So obviously influenced a bit with like Queen, some of those early bands. Kevin, for you, was there
I'd say-
like,
So for my mom, I always think of the Carpenters, and she's a big fan too. I think as we were dating, I was like, oh, somebody else who's really digs the Carpenters. I always thought that was just kind of I mean, they've been around for a long time, but it's just like, I didn't know a lot of people my age that were really like into it like I was. And so
Yeah, my music taste is very eclectic. It could
Yeah.
go anywhere from screamo, Bullet for My Valentine, to the Used, to like pop, hip hop, and
Yeah.
Notorious B.I.G. and just
but you
into
knew,
the Carpenters. So like it just is all over the place, except for not really country. But I have expanded my horizons a little bit. Like I'm okay with Post Malone's new country album.
so he's
I've
helped
listened
open that
to. I recently got a Jelly Roll album,
up? Okay.
and that was a big step for me, and I actually don't mind it.
Okay.
So like I'm slowly but yeah.
Which even if this is the thing I love is if you listen to something and then you decide it's not for you, like you've tried it, it then opens your mind to like, okay, I know what I like, I know what I don't like, and it almost makes it more beautiful the things you do like because you've tried other things.
Right.
So I feel like that you
You
have
have more of
to-
appreciation, yeah.
if you just listen to one specific like Merle Haggard and that's all you listen to, you don't realize there's things like the Foo Fighters out there that are a beautiful thing.
Right? Yeah,
So-
yeah.
but I
But
find food is kind of like that. Like when we were traveling and trying lots of different foods, we went with her dad and stepmom and aunt, and like none of them had ever tried sushi or any sort of raw fish or anything. And we had my birthday. We celebrated my birthday while we were in Sydney.
Which, happy birthday.
Well, thank you. And I just said, hey, I mean, because we had other days where we had a hard time like deciding where to eat. And, you know, in Sydney, there was a lot of just like Asian fusion, a lot of fresh fish and things like that. And I said, for my birthday, sorry, you guys, I'm picking, and you guys are just going along with it. And everybody did.
It's your birthday. You get to do whatever you want.
Yeah. So we did this like banquet style thing, and you know, you don't get to pick what you eat. They just bring you different courses, and there was a lot of
that's cool
raw fish,
small
a
dish
lot of like
sure.
Japanese fusion kind of edamame and different things, and they were all nervous, but they're like, you know what, this is your birthday. We're just gonna have a smile on our face. We're gonna eat it, and they're like, this is really good, you know.
My
and
dad
I
loves edamame. He was eating that stuff up like crazy.
And music is kind of the same thing, where it's just like it touches these different parts of your palate and activates it, and you have to play with the different moods and be open to things and try it out. And
that analogy is kind of perfect, because maybe too, like, even your taste buds change over time. Maybe your hearing is similar, where over time maybe you're like
returning.
That's kind of an interesting way to think about it. So with that being said, Japan, you tried some things. I want to return to your giveaway, and then I think there might be something that you got a big smile on your face, and it scared me to death. I'm not sure what that means, but automatically my spidey senses start tingling. But let's talk one more time real quick about the Queen album. So we announced it earlier, but just in case you decided to skip for some reason the first 10 minutes of the podcast.
Yeah, why?
Brittany and Kevin went to Japan. They found this amazing Queen record. They brought it back. It's greatest hits, but selected by people in Japan, which to me, I'm actually wanting to read the back now to kind of like, let me see that. Like, I love the thought of like people, like, it's probably not your traditional greatest hits.
No, it's not. That's what's great about it.
So we got Somebody to Love, Don't Stop Me Now, Spreading Your Wings, Killer Queen, The Show Must Go On, Bohemian Rhapsody. That transcends. You have to have that. 39, The March. Like, it's kind of a cool just mix. So what we're going to do is we have a code word. Kevin, give us that code word one more time.
Arigato.
Type that down in the comments down below. We are going to pull a winner. They're going to get this album all the way from Japan. I'm just picturing that you actually carried this your entire trip in your hands.
Yeah, we had to buy a case while we were in Japan to be able to
make sure you got it home.
Bring home, because originally we were just gonna like put it in our check bags and just bring it home. But then I had to buy an actual like record case to swap out our carry-on so that it can fit with us to like make sure it did come home safely.
And it did, you guys. I'm gonna grade it right now. Near mint. Okay, and I don't grade that lightly. This is a beautiful copy, and it's going to be one of yours. So down below, arigato is going to be the code word. Type it down below. We will pull the winner next Tuesday on our Facebook group, Daybreak Records. We do a live auction on Wednesdays, which is a lot of fun. And then Tuesdays, we do a fun little preview. We have sometimes amazing guests on.
Yeah.
Like today. So you guys join us next Tuesday on Facebook. We will pull a winner. This album could be yours. So thank you guys for doing that again. And let's just pull the Band-Aid off, though, because I sense something's about to happen that's going to make me very uncomfortable. But let's do this.
So
what do we have in this bag? It better not be a snake. I'm just going to say that.
No. While we were in Australia.
If it's a snake, I am running out of here immediately.
I'm like, no.
Okay.
While we were in Australia, like Japan had some fun stuff. And we figured since you had already been to Japan, you probably have already tasted some of that fun stuff.
Brooke made me try some things that
I was like, maybe I'd never been to Australia before.
Can we have Brooke come on the show real quick? Brooke, come over here. This is for you too. So come stand by me.
So I'm gonna do the
safe thing first.
The safe thing first. Yes.
Okay.
Safe food.
So let's get Brooke over. Oh, I hear something.
Can you hear it?
It's like ASMR right now. It's sending tingles down my spine.
So they have these in the U.S. But obviously, Tim Tams are a big thing in Australia too.
Okay.
So
tell me
we
about
figured
this.
Something sweet, something cookie. I love Tim Tams. They're freaking
take a look at
amazing.
these.
Oh yeah,
They're delicious.
Well, so far this isn't scaring me
No,
as much
it's
as I
not.
thought.
no, those will not be
Irresistible,
scary
real
to
chocolate.
anybody. Oh, Tim Tam.
Okay. So I love this.
But while we were there, they also had
Oh no.
kangaroo jerky.
What?
Oh,
Yes. It's a bit different. I will say that. But
Okay. Should we try it
yes, you
live?
guys need to try it.
Okay.
Kangaroo jerky. Look at
I hope you're not
So-
vegan or anything like
I
that.
almost,
'Cause
like,
I wondered
feel-
about that.
No.
but-
Phil,
My
that's
my
the
thing is I
cutest-
love eating as many different types of animals as possible.
Oh,
So
is
this-
kangaroo a new one for
I've
you?
never had kangaroo.
Oh, that's exciting.
So, like I said, for all of you vegans out there, turn your heads, change the podcast. For all
Don't look at the adorable
Yeah.
kangaroo. That's
Here's the thing that I've learned is this kangaroo has lived a full life and he's ready. He's at the perfect stage and he's like ready to become kangaroo jerky. And I'm ready to
wanted to come
eat you.
into a bag.
So here we go. Let's do a little unboxing. Here we go. Oh, let's
Oh,
give
yeah.
that initial
Okay.
croaky.
Okay.
Croaky, that smells good. I'm about to go down under on this room. So should we do this
Daybreak after dark.
ladies first? Or should we do it at the same time?
Yeah, let's. Here, how about I think.
Are you guys going to do a little piece with us too, or is this just for us?
No, that's just for you guys.
Okay, so here we go. Cheers.
Cheers.
Here we
to
go.
Ruse.
To Ruse.
Ruse.
I like that.
It's
It
a
has
bit
like
different,
it
huh?
has a springy feel to it.
Yeah.
Now, is this
Is it a bit
tail
hoppy?
meat? Is it tail meat or is it from the thighs?
I don't know.
I mean,
Mm. It's not as gamey as I thought it would be.
it's gamey.
It
It's
is?
gamey.
Oh,
for
no,
sure
it's
gamey.
hitting. It's hitting
No,
different
it's
now.
gamey. Yeah.
Oh my goodness! What?
bit
Oh
different.
no, but
It
it's
is
different.
different.
It's different, yeah.
But I
It has, like, an
appreciate the
aftertaste.
opportunity to.
Yeah.
I want to say. I don't even like to look at. No, I don't want to look at that. No, that's like really. That's like hard. Don't look at the
He's like,
adorable kangaroo.
Okay, why you eating my room?
Yeah, no.
So what you don't know is they actually just use baby kangaroos for this.
I
This
would
is
hope not.
only baby
Okay,
kangaroos.
okay.
Whoa.
Too far. Too far. You took it too far.
What do you think though?
Too far.
Give it a rating out of 10. How would you rate
I
your?
won't be mad if you're like, this is not for me. 'cause
It has an interesting
wasn't really for
aftertaste.
me, but it was interesting. Yeah, yeah.
It's very interesting, and I'm happy for the experience. But I'm gonna
Yeah.
say like I wouldn't want to have any more.
Yeah.
yeah.
So-
We concur.
Yeah, but we got to try some. We also got to try some crocodile jerky while we were there. What
That's
was the other one? Was it
Emu.
emu?
It was emu.
Yeah, those were definitely
Oh,
different. And I was
different.
like, okay, I was happy to try my one and done.
Mhm.
But I was like,
But it is interesting. It is interesting to think about what. Yeah.
why kangaroo?
Let's-
But I mean, like, it's they're everywhere. We got to feed some, so
Oh. I love
Hey.
it. But
As a little wash it down, Brooke. How about
yeah,
we do
yeah,
this?
Salty,
something sweet,
Mm,
good afterwards.
There we go.
Yeah.
it
That's what
smells
I
like cat food.
like cat food. Whatever.
I mean,
Poor
like,
Billabong
yeah.
jerky
taste-
is not getting a
something
very
about,
good
like-
review here.
Well, the smell hit me, and the taste is actually better than the smell. But
Yeah.
I keep getting like
Yeah.
the whiff, and
Yeah.
that's what's like.
What I was getting was a litter box.
Yeah.
I was getting notes of a litter box mixed with cat food.
You can't. You
With the-
can't steal my.
your
So,
review.
Billabong jerky available in a down under.
Australia.
Down-
Australia.
Yeah.
So
Australia.
Australia.
I'm
Yeah,
gonna give it a 4 out of 10.
they
Mm,
they like to shorten their words, right? Instead
Yeah.
of chicken parmesan, it's a parmy.
it's a
Parmy.
parmy.
Yeah. Instead of a schnitzel, it's a schnitty.
They're just like all those words are too long. I'm gonna
Yeah,
shut
the
it
It's
two-
two-
gonna come
it's a-
out something different for me,
Or
right?
they'll take
Yeah.
other words like instead of the telephone, it's the dog and bone.
The dog.
Or there's the phrase a babbling brook.
Oh, the babbling brook. I get that.
Yep. Yeah. It's not a body of water. It's
Yeah.
they use that to describe a lady.
Yeah.
Oh,
A babbling brook.
Yeah.
babbling brook.
Is it like a
This
sexy
Tim Tam
thing?
though. Mm-mm.
No.
Oh, okay.
It's like a chatty Cathy.
Exactly.
Oh,
Exactly.
a babbling brook.
Yeah.
I get that now. I get
Chatty
that.
Cathy babbling brook. Yeah.
Or we have an aunt Sheila, and Sheila is a name in Australia. That's not a name you really want to have.
Right.
They'll say don't be a Sheila. It's kind
Yeah.
of a pub term. Yeah.
Oh, it's like our Karen.
Kind of. Yeah.
Don't you feel bad for Sheila? Like before that came out, like here she is just living a life.
I feel bad for Karen.
Yeah.
Yeah, we talked to people on our cruise from Australia, and they're
Yeah.
like, "Oh, your name's Sheila."
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
They're like, oh, we feel bad. for you."
Yeah.
There was another one. I had for some reason you get on these like emailing lists, right? And I had this guy. It was like a Jeff, and his last name was Epstein.
Okay.
And he had a little email list he would send out. Obviously, his name didn't translate so well
Yeah.
recently. I had to unfollow him.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
A different Jeffrey Epstein,
I
not the.
I mean, I wasn't going to question. But,
Yeah,
you know,
a different Jeff
A- a- a
Epstein
different
who had
mailing
a
list.
mailing list.
okay.
Yeah, I.
I mean, I
just
didn't know
interesting.
whether to take you seriously or not. But,
Yeah.
you know, we don't judge here
Yeah.
on Daybreak
We
After Dark.
listen and we don't
We
judge.
listen and we don't
We
judge.
try things, try
Yeah.
new things. new
Exactly.
And we don't
experiences.
judge.
This episode has been brought to you by Baby Oil. P. Diddy is sponsoring this episode. Join us for our next White Night party at Daybreak Records. It's gonna get weird. That's what I'm trying to say there.
Keep David weird.
That's right. So, I mean, we've laughed, we've eaten kangaroo. I feel like we've done about everything we needed to tonight to be fully functional members of Daybreak Records.
Yep.
But
Absolutely.
let's talk one last thing before you go. This is my favorite part. Over the years, we change as people. We've talked about our tastes changing. My taste buds just changed with that kangaroo.
Forever with kangaroo jerky.
Exactly. Our musical tastes change. Our relationships change. If you could go back in time and you could talk to your 18-year-old self, Brittany and Kevin, what would you give them life advice?
Trust the process.
Tell us
Trust
more
the-
about that. What do you
trust the
mean by
process.
trust the process?
But I feel like things happen for a reason, and if they're meant to be, they're meant to be, and just trust that it's going the way it needs to go, and it's supposed to go that way.
I like that. Kevin, what about you? If you could go back in time and talk to little Kev, what would you tell him?
Little Kev.
Aw.
Aw, little Kev.
Or Big Kev?
It's interesting.
I'm sorry,
'cause,
Big Kev.
You know, I mean, I was in another relationship. I was married for 10 years before I met Brittany. And obviously I don't have good things to say about my ex, but
That's another episode.
It's had I not had the experience with my ex and I wouldn't have my kids and I wouldn't have ever met Brittany, right? Like the things broke up. So along with that, trust the process, you know, sometimes bad things don't mean they're going to continue to get bad. Some good things will come out of bad things and you just kind of have to, and you can't just assume that, you know, like because my one relationship went bad, like I told myself, well, it doesn't mean all women are bad or all women are like this. I thought, okay, I'm not even going to date for a while. And that didn't quite happen. We started dating pretty quickly.
Yeah.
And yeah, just kind of go with it and see where life takes you.
I love that. I get to do this every week. So by the end, I'm going to have like dozens of these. But one of the things lately that I've been thinking a lot about is putting yourself out there, of trying things maybe you normally wouldn't. And I feel like getting us the kangaroo jerky tonight was an amazing example of that.
Good theme.
Still going to insist that if you brought a snake, I would have run away. I'm not quite ready for that. But I feel like in life, sometimes we don't even realize that we're going to like something, or that like we got to be open to trying new things. And especially with like meeting new people, new activities, new music, trying new things food-wise. I feel like there's so many amazing things in the world that if you're not willing to put yourself out there and try something, you may miss something amazing. And for you guys tonight, obviously you're not hitting the podcast circuit, right? Like you don't have another podcast after this you're going to hit up.
I mean,
Or do you? Are you
what
going
time
on?
is it? No.
Whose podcast are you doing next?
You, you got us started.
Yeah, but the thing I love is
can't
that
unring
you
the bell.
you guys tried something new tonight. You came out tonight. You did something that maybe wouldn't be natural. Like you were a little nervous. You were a little like, I don't know how this is going to go. But I love that I got to know you guys a little bit better. I feel like
I'm glad I decided to come and do this because I was
Yeah.
nervous. Like I remember when Shanks was talking about wanting to come on, we were like, "Oh, let's co-host together. Maybe it will be not so scary to be alone." You know, like
Yeah.
It's not scary. I don't know why I was so scared.
And I just want to thank you guys for coming out tonight. It's been so fun chatting
Thank you
with
for
you about
having us.
life, music. We've touched a little bit of everything. So thank you guys for joining us on Daybreak After Dark. You guys, I hope you've enjoyed getting to know Brittany and Kevin a little bit more. That was
Whoa.
so
I
cool.
didn't know
What just
that.
happened there?
I
I
didn't
want
know
to try that.
happened.
Whoa.
Brittany, what is happening right
Whoa.
now?
I don't know.
This is
Just
so
learned
cool.
something
You
new.
tried something
Yeah.
new.
I wonder if
Magic.
would other gestures do other things?
Whoa.
Nothing. Nothing.
Nope.
Well, or tears.
Dang
No,
it, that was so
nothing?
cool.
That was like the only thing.
Yeah. Okay, Kevin, let's get it. All three of us. Let's see if we can get some hearts floating up. Oh,
we care. We care.
thank you guys so much. This has been another episode of Daybreak After Dark. Shout out to obviously Live Nation. Shout out to Brittany and Kevin for their giveaway. Thank you guys so much for joining us tonight.
Arigato, arigato, arigato.
Arigato gozaimasu. You guys have a good night.
Just
This is us logging off. We got to go
All right.
eat the rest of that kangaroo jerky.
Yep.
Oh,
See ya.
Yeah.